I think it's the 4th of June anyway. It's the Saturday around the 4th of June. It's 7:28 in the evening. Temperature's 90 degrees. It's been dropping to survivable levels. This is Jim, and I live in Texas. And I'm on my way to the airport to do a few airplane chores for my flying club. And on the way, I thought I would give you a couple of updates since I've been silent for so long. Let me get out here first. Wow, the breeze feels good. I always work up a sweat by the time I get this heavy monster out of the garage and put my Kevlar suit on and wander around trying to find my camera and my glasses and all the stuff I forget because I'm so senile. Alright, well, the first thing, topic number 1. Well, topic number 0.8 is get through this busy street and then talk about the Heart of Texas rally, which I did about a month ago. Yeah. Breeze feels good. Okay. Alrighty now. Heart of Texas rally. Well, it was quite an adventure. Last year, Kenneth rode it with me. It was 8 hours then. It was 12 hours this year. In order to have any chance of placing anywhere, you had to start at one of 5 alternate start locations. Me and most of the 40-person field, the 40 riders who showed up for it, approximately. Howdy there, Squid. Well, he's not a squid, he's on a Ninja 250. Okay. Sorry about that, my friend. Where was I? Oh, yeah, there's about 40 riders signed up. I mean, showed up. More than that signed up. Not everybody showed up. I started in, what's the little town out there? Was it Tyler? No, it wasn't Tyler. Some little town out in East Texas. And all the starts were at Whataburgers. You had to get a Whataburger receipt between 6 a.m. and 6:15 a.m. When I got there, there was probably 10 riders ahead of me. But the people at Whataburger were printing out receipts, just void receipts, so that we didn't have to buy anything and didn't have to take so much time. I'm so slow getting on the bike and getting ready to go. It's been a problem all my life. It takes me a while to build my nest. That phrase sticks in my mind because once when I was flying, I flew these two-person airplanes, pilot and navigator. I was the nav. I'd always try to rush through the pre-flight and get into the cockpit before the pilot so that I had a little time to build my nest. But I remember once I'm laying out my charts, I'm getting the straps all in just right and trying to set all the switches just the way I want them, and wriggling around and looking for the stuff that I'd misplaced and figuring out which pocket I put it in, and in general getting all ready to go. And I can remember a pilot saying, "Howard, you take too damn long to build your nest." So it took me, I don't know why it took me longer than most people to get out on their bike and get out of there, but it did. So wasn't the last person to leave, but I was probably only, of the probably 14, 15 people who were there, I was probably left number 13. So first we went to a park that was about 60 or 80 miles away, and when I got there I seemed to be about midway through the pack. The next stop was the disaster stop. That was the Mother Neff stone tower, in Central Texas, very near that SpaceX facility you often see me talking about. Built in a park by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 30s. Anyway, driving along, and there's other bikes around me. So at least the bike ahead of me, all of a sudden he whips into this little side road, and I go by it, and as I go by it, I see this tower. So I realize it's not the main entrance to the park, it's sort of a utility building or headquarters building, and the tower's next to that. So it's a narrow road with a real high crown. So I pull over, and it's not very wide, so I pull over all the way to the right edge, and I stop, and I try to decide what to do. And I said, I could ride, it looked like about a quarter mile down, and there would be like an intersection where I could turn around, or I could just whip a U-turn right there. And I said, I don't like maneuvering this bike in tight turns at low speeds. It's difficult to do it. It's such a top-heavy bike, and with the electric clutch down here, you don't have a friction zone, so you have to use trail braking. It's a little different technique. I said, so I can do this U-turn, and I almost could too. So I go into this U-turn, and I get over to the other side, and it's going to be a little too wide. So I'm afraid I'm going to fall off the pavement down about an inch or so, or an inch and a half lip. So I just straighten out a little bit and just go off the side of the pavement. My plan being to get straight, get a little distance from the pavement and then cut back into it. So I pull off, and I'm thinking, yeehaw, adventure FJR. And about that time, I see the big rock. So I try to dodge this big rock that was in my way, go up hit the lip, and the next thing I knew, the bike tosses me off and falls on its side. Damnation. I was not seriously hurt. I had a sore ankle for about a week. I had an x-ray of it, but there was nothing wrong with it. Let me raise the window and make it a little quieter. That's better. This isn't as quiet as my winter windshield from Calside, but maybe you can hear me. So to make a long story short, I had to wait a few minutes till a couple guys came by, helped me pick it up. I was a little shook up, so I lost probably, instead of being like a 5 or 10 minute stop, it wound up being like a half an hour stop. Then I made a navigation error, added a few extra miles to the trip. Wound up going to a bonus location in the Austin State Cemetery, Stephen F. Austin's graveyard, the entrance to the Bastrop State Park, which was about, 25 miles southeast of Austin. Then I went back towards south central Texas. I got to Guadalupe State, 2 state parks that were bonuses. They gave you base routes, and to have a chance of finishing, you had to get all the points, all the bonuses on at least one base route. So I was hoping to get all the base routes and 3 extra bonuses, but the state park was the only extra bonus I got. So there are 2 state parks, Pedernales River State Park and Guadalupe State Park. Then I was clearly way behind by that point. My GPS was showing me over an hour behind what Streets and Trips did. Last year when I rode with Trina, Streets and Trips was incredibly accurate, so I was really freaked. I don't normally speed, but in this case, I did pick it up a little bit. I went into Fredericksburg and it was getting really hot, and as I said, I'm real scared when it gets near 100, and it was getting near 100. So I made a fuel stop there that was, they had a few little tables in the convenience gas station there, so I actually sat in the gas station about 10 minutes, drank a big bottle of Powerade, got a couple of bottles of water. The refrigerator was real cold, so I poured one of them, the water's right over my head, got back on the bike and took off. GPS was saying, Jimmy, we're going to get there about 10 minutes before closing. If you got there 1 minute past 6 p.m., i.e. if the ride took 12 hours and 1 minute, you were disqualified. So, what did I do? I concentrate on driving a little bit. Oh, I wicked it up a little bit. It was a nice, pretty straight road from Fredericksburg to Brady, Texas, right in the heart of Texas. It's the name of the rally, the geographic center of Texas. And I noticed a BMW who's clearly a rally participant. You can tell because they're wearing, high-vis jackets. This guy's riding a GS 1200 BMW with the big aluminum side bags, and he's got extra lights and all the stuff that marks a serious long-distance rider. So I'm thinking he's pulling in just as I'm leaving, and I got 10 minutes left. I said, that guy better make the world's quickest gas stop, or he's going to be disqualified. So about, I guess, 10 or 15 miles, it was about 30 miles from Fredericksburg to Brady, if I recall correctly. So about 30 miles, about halfway around that route, I look and there's a yellow dot in my mirror from his high vis. And then the guy passes me. I'm going about 75 probably on the GPS. And this fellow passes me like I'm standing still. I mean, it was like zing. And at first I said, okay, I'll just follow him about a half a mile behind and he can get the felony arrest. But I couldn't stay with him. It was too scary. I have too much fear of going to jail. And, you're in the middle of West Texas. You don't know what kind of mood the county sheriff's going to be in if he catches you going really fast. And you might like your bike. And, anyway, I dropped back. So that fella beat me by 6 or 8 minutes, even though I gave him at least a 10-minute head start. He gave me a 10-minute head start. Got there, got off the bike, hung with the other riders. Instead of finishing 4th like I did last year, I finished like 37th, way in the bottom third. Very sadly disappointing. So I'm going to have to do it next year and do better. So that's the story of the Heart of Texas Rally. So that's the end of story number 1 here. Okay.